Welcome back to the Proactive Investors New York studio. I'm Christine Corrado. Joining me in studio today is Dr. Raj Mehra from Seelos Therapeutics. Dr. Mehra, great to have you.
Thank you, Christine, for having us. It's really a pleasure.
It's so exciting to have you in the studio because we did see the company's stock nearly double yesterday on news that we'll get to in a second. But first off, just tell me a bit about the company.
So Seelos Therapeutics is a New York-based innovative CNS company. We are focused on the neurological diseases, movement disorder, as well as the orphan diseases areas.
So let's get to the news that came out yesterday. The company has in-license rights to potentially cure Parkinson's disease, which doubled its share price. What value did you see in acquiring this drug, SLS-007?
So SLS-007 is an anti-peptide inhibitors of alpha-synuclein aggregates. So that's a mouthful. So alpha-synuclein is a normal protein that all of us have it, but it turns out that in Parkinson's patients, the accumulation and aggregation of alpha-synuclein is always present. And that has been identified as a key target. According to some of the top experts, that this is their top priority, to focus on alpha-synuclein aggregates. If you look at it, currently the large pharma, including Roche and Biogen, are focused on creating antibodies for alpha-synuclein aggregates. Now, these aggregates are cytotoxic, but the antibody approach from these large pharma is focused on the aggregates outside the cell. However, these aggregates are seeded and formed within the cell. So our focus was to find a smaller molecule approach that works inside the cell for these alpha-synuclein aggregates as well as the outside. And the entire goal for us and the large pharma is, to the extent we can stop the seed and the propagation of these aggregates, perhaps we can slow down the progression of the Parkinson's disease, which so far has not been addressed. So that's a huge unmet need, so that's why we are focused on it.
And the drug is currently in preclinical stages. What steps do you need to take to get it into the clinic?
So what we have shown so far, that our drug in culture research as well as in vitro research has shown that it stops the seeding as well as the propagation of these alpha-synuclein aggregates. Now we need to show it in vivo study in transgenic mice to first show the target engagement, then we'll do the appropriate toxic study before we bring it into the human clinical trials.
Exciting to hear. Besides Parkinson's, you did mention at the top of our interview, the company is focused mainly on CNS disorders.
That is correct.
This week, the FDA approved the first ketamine-based antidepressant. What innovations is the company working on with ketamine?
So ketamine is a very important drug. It's the fastest acting CNS drug known to humans so far, and that is critical for the indication that we are pursuing, which is suicidality. This is an acute cases of where people are going to harm themselves and take their lives imminently. Currently, there is nothing approved for suicidality, and this is, according to the CDC, is an epidemic proportion. So we have, this is one of the 10 largest causes of death in this country. And if a patient were to go into the ER because they were unsuccessful in taking their lives, we practically have nothing to give them other than short-term hospitalization. And we are seeing almost 936,000 patients showing up in the ER for this. So this is a massive unmet need that's even causing our lifespan in the US for the last 3 years to come down. So our program is ketamine also, but it's a slightly different program than the Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
So Johnson & Johnson has the S form of ketamine that's after. They're going after depression, and we wish them really big success. And our program is a racemic mixture where we have both S and R combination, and we believe our program will have a potentially lower dose than their dose because we are potentially higher efficacy and lower side effects. And we will be showing the data, safety data, sometime late Q3 this year and then take it into the pivotal study in suicidality.
Very exciting to hear. So Johnson & Johnson, their drug would have potential side effects that yours wouldn't have. Is that the case?
Both of us will have some side effects.
Okay.
However, we believe, based on the preclinical data, that their side effects will be more pronounced than ours because of we have the racemic mixture and theirs is S isomer alone.
Besides these innovations that you've touched on, what else can investors expect from the company in 2019?
So there is another program that we recently acquired 2 weeks ago, Seelos. That's a very innovative program. Simultaneously to the acquisition announcement, we also announced that we are partnered with Team San Filippo Foundation to go into a potentially pivotal Sanfilippo study. Sanfilippo is a rare orphan disease, pediatric disease, where many of these children do not live beyond their teenage years. Wow. And currently, so it's a terminal disease, and most of the enzyme replacement therapy by large pharma have not been successful. And currently not much is available. And we believe mechanistically, Seelos actually improves their lysosomal pathways, which is the major cause of the disease. Plus, it's a small molecule that will cross the blood-brain barrier and go into the CNS. So we have high hopes from that study, and we'll be announcing very soon when we start dosing the first patients. And we're looking at approximately dosing 20 patients in that potentially pivotal study.
Well, it seems like a lot going on for the company this year.
Thank you, Christine.
Raj, thanks so much for being with me here today.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks again. Good to meet you. Thank you.